I made money and I became a worse man. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Anthony. I'm an online fitness coach, and today I'm going to be going a little bit over my background in the last year to see how far I came and why you shouldn't make the same mistakes at me. So, this was around March 2026. I really felt on top of the world. I had my dream car. I had guys come up to me to take pictures of me because I was in good shape. And I even had every man's dream. I just pulled random women from parties. I know it's not the biggest flex, but at the time, I thought it was the biggest flex. I got validation from women. So it all came back to November 2025. So I made this video promising myself to never give up, and I'm gonna play it for you guys right now.
Yeah, I was a bad person at the end. I feel like that's always what happens, but that's what happens when you play with my feelings. All I gotta say, future Anthony, is use this video as a testament that you can do anything. You know, if you can make it through this, you can make it through anything. And this one hurts more than the last one because it was real. But yeah, just watch this video if you're ever sad, because you're not any more sad than this. Just remember how much your heart hurt when you saw that motorcycle. And remember how much your heart hurt when you saw that sex playlist. And use that and never give up. And while you remember that, and treat the next girl 10 times better. Because I feel like what I did was very surface level. Anyone can do that. You just gotta take it to the next level. You are him. You're him, Anthony. You are that motherfucker. Alright? You grew up on this planet alone. With nobody. You don't need a girl to make you feel good about yourself. You don't need any friends. You got yourself, alright? You did this shit by yourself. And your mom and dad. Don't forget about that. That's what you're doing this for. That's why you gotta graduate. You gotta lock in. You can't, fuck this guy walking by. You can't let no girl do this to you. You just gotta lock in, okay? Alright, I'm gonna go cry now.
Alright, so basically that video was just me promising to not give up on myself, because during this time I went through pretty much the worst breakup of my life, right? So it wasn't just any normal breakup though. For some reason, I saw it in person. Like I saw, her with another man. I saw, her, doing X, Y, and Z, and I saw it in person. When usually, once you stay in no contact, like that's it, you shouldn't see it again. But I kept seeing it. So that was kind of like my reasoning for all of it. Was kind of honestly for revenge, to be completely honest. It was because I was so hurt. I wanted to basically prove people wrong, prove my ex wrong, right? So yeah, I tried everything, right? I tried therapy, it didn't work. I tried boxing. Somebody told me to try boxing. It did not work either. And I tried focusing on school. I tried chasing the bag, toxic masculinity, chasing the bag, and I tried to be an influencer. I tried posting thirst traps on TikTok, and I was always wondering why none of it worked. And at the end of the night, like I still felt a void, like something that was missing. And instead of just feeling like the feeling of something missing, I would just not be sober. So I would drink a lot more, I would smoke a lot more, and the main reason why I did smoke a lot more was because me and my ex used to smoke a lot together. So that was kind of my way of trying to reconnect in a weird way. I know it's kind of weird, but yeah, but this all happened in the span of like a few months. So December 2025. So I met Josh Chang in December 2025, and I remember I was binge watching all of his videos because of how relatable it was, right? Like he had basically the same vision as me when it came to fitness. Like I was always preaching that you don't need to post your physique on social media, and at the time that was what he was preaching the most. So yeah, this is when he reached out to me asking me to join his program. And I was very into it because he got heartbroken. He had a future where he moved to Miami, and I wanted to also get out of my hometown and move somewhere. And it really felt like it was God's plan, right? He saw me suffering, and he just wanted to end my suffering. That's what I took it as. So yeah, eventually I onboarded to Josh's program, and the onboarding call with Josh changed everything about my life, or so I thought. So I mean, I guess it did change everything about my life, I guess. So I put my camera up, same way I put my camera up for therapy and stuff, because I was so down in the dumps. Like, I just needed something to keep track, so that the only way was up so I could look back on it later. So yeah, like, I usually don't record from this weird angle, but I was like, whatever, let me just try a new angle out. And then this was the moment that changed everything, was when he said, so you really gotta make it happen now. Because this is when I was telling him that I really wanted to do online coaching full time, because I was seeing how much money he was making. So I was like, fuck, like, I gotta make this work. Like, I gotta, follow in your footsteps, right? So I posted the video, not really thinking much about it, right? And then this is the video right now. It has up to almost 500,000 views. And it's not even like a crazy video. It's literally just me talking to Josh. And at this moment, like, I was like, wow, like, Instagram really cares that I'm a human being. They don't care about my science-based lifting. They don't care about the most optimal workouts. They just care that I'm just a kid trying to live out his dreams, right? So despite no actual money being made, it was proof of concept that was possible, right? Because this is the first time in a while that I've gotten this many views before, because I used to post before, but I stopped because I just honestly just gave up. But my optimism died down quick because I made no sales for the next 3 months. So I was still heartbroken. I was still sad over my ex, right? I was always crying. I was crying so much. And even now, like, I'm thinking, damn, like, I'm posting myself crying a lot, but I'm just thinking about how this would help somebody that is in my situation, that might feel hopeless, might feel a little bit lost. And if me posting myself crying is what's going to give somebody relatability and help them go through it, then so be it, right? So yeah, I was crying all the time, all the time. I was crying all the time, and I was isolated in school. Like, I didn't really have any friends in school. And you can see too, I was also stim maxing. I was taking a bunch of stimulants, Zins, Adderall, that wasn't prescribed. And I would drink caffeine on top of it to kind of make me feel that euphoric feeling of like being productive. And I was always isolated in these meeting rooms, and this was my life for a few months. I was just grinding, right? And I hopped on so many sales calls, right? So many of them, and I closed nobody because they were all broke, and I couldn't figure out what the reason was until a few months later. But this was February 2026. Let me make sure I'm still recording. Okay. All right, and then February, I think the same month, I literally closed my first client. It meant everything to me. Like, it was only $750, but after 3 months of grinding my ass off, like, that was everything to me, right? And I was joining these group calls all the time, even at the gym, and I just kept wanting to get better and improve. And then March 2026, I felt on top of the world. I was closing more clients. I think March was my best month. I think I closed up to almost 2K in just the month of March, and I felt on top of the world, right? So I felt on top of the world. I was going out, I was going to these raves, I was getting some rave bays, right? And I felt on top of the world, right? Because at this time, I've never made this much money before while still being in college, right? And at this time, I'm thinking too, like, oh, like, I still have post-grad to be in sales, right? Because at this time, I didn't want to be a fitness coach full-time. Well, I did, but like, I had the idea, like, oh, like, if this doesn't work out full-time, I still have going into sales to fall back on. So yeah, like, I was very woman-centered, as you can see. I was always rave-baiting girls. I was always very hungry for girls and female validation, and this was obviously me coping, right? And I was always going after girls, and I always thought they were the one. And eventually like I fell back into my old habits that got me into sales into the first place, or I fell back into my old habits that got me the sales in the first place. So after that, it was a pretty slow month. So yeah, my videos started doing a lot worse. I was half-assing my videos. I wasn't putting as much time into, ideating and filming and scripting. I was getting very, very comfortable, right? So I completely lost the habits that took me to getting that money in the first place, right? That hard work ethic and that conviction that got me there, right? And I also wasn't giving my clients the best results, and I'm not afraid to admit that, right? I was too focused on making content. I was giving very mediocre results. My check-ins weren't good, my fulfillment wasn't good. And then I realized that I was just making excuses for myself, right? Because anybody can make the time if they really wanted to. Yeah, and my physique wasn't as good. Like, this is a very average physique. I'm holding a lot more body fat, and I could be a lot leaner. So yeah, and this is also when I met this girl. This one was different though. This one was actually one of those girls that you actually want to think about dating seriously, right? And this is also the first girl since my ex that I actually really liked. So I was really close to like, wait, sorry. Okay, so yeah, I was pretty close to giving up, on my business until I met this girl, right? Because I wouldn't say I was gonna give up necessarily, but I was like losing hope. Like I was just kind of posting a post, and it didn't really feel like I was going anywhere, right? But when I met her, she was very successful. Like she, went to Harvard. Without saying too much, she went to Harvard. She had her own business, and she was obviously making way more money than me. But it wasn't the money that was attractive to me. It was merely the fact that like she showed me that was possible, right? And she really inspired me to keep going and take it more seriously, because you never know where you can end up, and I really wanted to move to LA, and she was moving to LA also. So like shit, like this is probably meant to be, right? So yeah, we went on a few dates, but then eventually, it didn't work out. She ended up, not wanting to commit to me, and I wasn't crying or anything, I wasn't like super heartbroken, because we did only know each other for a few weeks, but I did really like her, and I did like see potential into getting to know her more. But yeah, she ended up not reciprocating, and instead of thinking about it on her perspective, I kind of just took it as this is motivation for me to get richer. So yeah, eventually the motivation quickly faded, and I was not able to close a client for 3 months, right? And this is me at EDC. I lost the discipline and drive I had in the beginning when I was heartbroken, and I kept spending money I didn't have on raves and festivals to reward myself for graduating, when in reality, like there was nothing to celebrate, right? And like there's no problem of going out. Like I still like going out, but it became a problem when I was going out and I got lazy with my other things, such as like content creating and coaching people, right? So yeah, it wasn't until I saw this picture of my mom at my graduation that I had that epiphany that like, she's not young anymore. And I think like I was doing this thing where I don't look at my mom in the eyes, not because like I'm scared she's gonna hit me or anything, but literally just because I'm scared to see her wrinkles. Because when I see her wrinkles, like I get really sad, because I don't want to think about my mom old, you know what I mean? So yeah, at this point I was really embarrassed. I was having fun while my mom was still working. I felt like a failure. And at this epiphany that like I was chasing validation from the wrong women, right? Like I was chasing validation from these girls that didn't care about me, but my mom was always the one that has cared about me, and I never really repaid her back, right? So, my parents came on a boat from Vietnam and to live the American dream, and I was out here, partying and, chasing women, you know what I mean? It wasn't really the American dream they hoped, you know what I mean? So yeah, at this point, like I felt extremely guilty, and I knew something had to change, right? So, and this is when I started posting about my mom. I met Harley. He's a cinematic Instagram Reels creator, and he inspired me to post more about my mom. And as soon as I did it, dude, look at that engagement, bro. 61 saves, almost 7,000 views. Like people really liked it. And during this time too, as soon as I did that, I think I ended up getting a client, like literally just off of like this video. So why does this matter, right? Like the most important lesson in doing anything that I learned, right, is just your why, right? Like why do you want to get in shape? Like why do you want money, right? And if it isn't morally right, after you get it, or after whatever, you're just gonna go back into how you were before, right? So I went back to the drawing board. I got my own fitness coach and I got certified because I'm like, okay, you know, during that time I was chasing women, I was having fun. I wasn't really, you know, putting my all into my clients. So in order to be a coach that's worth listening to, I gotta walk the walk. So got my own fitness coach. I do hard ass shit like Stairmaster now. And I got certified so that I actually know my shit and I know what I'm talking about. And I went back to the drawing board again, like I said, instead of chasing money, I chased how to be a better coach. And you know, now I'm lean as fuck, right? So yeah, so ever since I've been able to reinvent my why and stop chasing the money, instead just chase being a good person, you know, giving back to people who need it, you know, people who want to get better fitness, get better health, you know. People say, oh, like I really like how you DM me and that you actually ask good questions, and that's part of my why, right? Like the way Josh Chang reached out to me inspired me. Like I want to do the same for other people too. And the physique is just a byproduct of doing all of this, because obviously if you want to be a good coach, you need good physique. If you want money, you need to walk the walk. You need to, you know, have the physique to back it up. So that's my why. So again, like if you're watching this, right, like all of this, what happened and it stemmed from this, right? But if it wasn't for this, shit. If it wasn't for this, then I probably would have gave up by now. I'm not gonna lie. If this wasn't my why, then I would have already gave up. Just like I gave up on a lot of other things. But yeah, if you want to be a coach in the future, if you want to start your own business, or if you are, then the first thing you need to dial down is your physique, bro. Your physique is a byproduct of everything, right? So yeah, this was the video. I actually did this in no take, so I'm actually really glad of how this video turned out. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, this is the end of the video. I genuinely want to appreciate all of you guys for watching this video. It truly means the world to me. And you know, if you do want to be a part of my coaching, just fill out the calendar in the link below and we'll get to talking, right? And also DM me on Instagram too if you want. But yeah, man, I love talking to you guys. I love connecting with you guys. So yeah, bro, my name is Anthony Lam. Today is July 28th, 2026, and I'm gonna retire my mom through online fitness coaching. I'll catch you guys, man. Peace.